Messenger, St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist. Good morning, Tony Messenger in the English Beat. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, McGraw. Good morning, Kelly. Good to have you back, McGraw.
Thank you. Good to be back. Let's talk a little mayor's race for a second. Is it a foregone conclusion that Lyda Krewson is going to win this after the story came out in your hometown newspaper that she spent over $1 million to secure the nomination?
I don't think it's a foregone conclusion, only in the sense that in the last couple of election cycles, I think those of us who occasionally are in the punditry business where we predict things,
right?
We've been wrong more than we've been right. And so, I think in particular because there's not a lot of in-depth polling in this race, city voter turnouts are small, and so who gets their voters to the polls really matters. But all of the conventional wisdom, based on all of the things that I know about politics in general and city politics in specific, tell me that she is clearly the leading candidate. The only polls that I've seen, she has a commanding 15-point lead consistently. She has spent more money than anybody else. She has, generally speaking, held her own in forums where she's had audiences predisposed to not liking her, and she's done well in her wheelhouse, sorts of forums in Central West End and the Central Corridor. And with the number of relatively well-known black candidates from different parts of the city that are likely going to split traditional black voters based on historical patterns, then yeah, she's the clear favorite.
Yeah.
But who shows up to vote? And you look at the most recent city election in which Kim Gardner was elected circuit attorney. That surprised a lot of people.
Right. Yeah.
She was not the favorite. She was not until a last-minute infusion of money, somebody who had a lot of money in the race, and she won pretty handily.
Yeah.
And brought some new voters with her, and a lot of the voters that voted for her are in Tashara Jones's camp, and so it's. I'm not somebody who's good at predicting such things, particularly these days. But all of the traditional political signs, yes, point to Lyda Krewson being the likely next mayor of St. Louis.
All right, so I've heard a couple people float this idea because the city being what it is, it's overwhelmingly Democratic. The Democratic primary race is the mayor's race in a sense. But this year, you've got the soccer people who are going to put a big push to get the voters to approve the soccer stadium funding, which means more people will go out for the city general election. And so there are a number of Republicans who are running and or independents running in that independent category or the Republican category for the general. So whoever wins the Democratic primary, are they necessarily a shoo-in for the general?
It would take a massive act of God for the person who wins the Democratic primary to not win the general election in the city of St. Louis, because you would have to have an independent candidate that turns all political history on its side, has a tremendous amount of money, uncovers untold corruption to turn voters against the person that they just elected in the Democratic primary. And right now, the two potential independent candidates, Casey Cordes, who was at a forum I was at yesterday, and has been actively campaigning. She's trying to get on the ballot without actually doing the traditional way that an independent person gets on the ballot of submitting signatures. She didn't submit signatures, and she's trying to make an argument that she doesn't have to. So there's a question as to whether or not she's actually going to be on the April 4th ballot and qualify. The other one's Larry Rice, who I don't even think lives in the city of St. Louis, the reverend who operates his homeless shelter, New Life Evangelistic Center, that is causing so much controversy. So I don't think, and I don't know who's, the guy who I'd love to see win the Republican nomination is the guy who says he's running for a joke.
Crown Candy.
Yeah, Candy Candy.
Yeah.
And so I just don't believe that the April 4th election is going to change things in terms of the dynamics.
I don't know.
Whoever wins the Democratic primary is going to be the next mayor.
I don't know why Antonio French, right? Why try and fight through a Democratic primary with all that traffic? Why not run as an independent in the general election and have a much better shot in the general election as an independent?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of interesting questions about Antonio in this election. I've been to several forums now. And, if you're basing your view on who performs well at forums, Antonio French would be the leading candidate. He's smart. He's aggressive. He has specific plans that he talks about at forums. But he's very poorly funded for somebody who's been in city politics for a while and had some name recognition. A lot of people thought, boy, he got a national some national name identification during Ferguson. He's not really raising any national money or bringing in big checks into this race, and so that raises a question to me. That tells me that the people that traditionally fund politics don't want to give money to Antonio for some reason. Now, is it just because they're on board with somebody else or not? Is it something in Antonio's past that they have a problem with? But clearly. He has not gained the traction in the fundraising area.
Right.
And if you look at, again, the only polls that I've seen, and I can't tell you that they're great polls, but the only polls that I've seen, he's consistently been, 15 points behind Lyda.
Yeah. Tony Messenger, St. Louis Post-Dispatch columnist. You read them all the time, stltoday.com, the newspaper at your front doorstep before the neighbor's dog gets it, and right here at the Big 550 KTRS every Tuesday and Thursday. Tony, thanks for checking in.
Have a great day.
You got it. 828 Big 550 KTRS. By the way, today is Fat Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
Today's Fat Tuesday. Tomorrow is Ash Wednesday. So traditionally, this is the day of the Mardi Gras parade down in Nolens. But today is Fat Tuesday.
So this is the day where you guys can just overindulge. Continue.
You guys, you mean Catholics?
Yes.
Yes.
Because tomorrow is another day.
And remember, I learned this last year after being a lifelong Catholic, right? Lent starts tomorrow with Ash Wednesday, which is not a holy day of obligation, which I learned that only a few years ago. You don't have to go to church tomorrow. It is recommended, I guess, but you don't have to go. And then secondly, you give up something for Lent, right?
Yeah.
Except on Sundays.
Oh. So.
Yeah.
So.
No. It's totally in the rule book.
And of course, McGraw's gonna. Okay, so
maybe the East Coast Catholic thing.
No,
Here in the Midwest, fella, we are devout and we do it 7 days a week.
No. Because Sunday is a day of rest. Sunday is a day for reflection, and so you give up something. How long is Lent?
40 days.
Wrong. It's not. It's 46 days, including Sundays. They don't include Sundays in 40 days and 40 nights. That's why you get Sundays off.
Leave it to McGraw to find a little loophole.
It's not a loophole. It's straight up legit.
But then the Sundays don't count, then it is 40 days.
Yeah, but if you count the Sundays, it's 46 days.
But you said the Sundays don't count. Which one do you want? Do they count or they don't count, McGraw?
He just said
there are 46 days between Ash Wednesday and Easter. If you don't count the Sundays, it's 40.
Yes.
So you are giving up something for 40 days and 40 nights, but it's 46 days within the 40 days.
So on Sundays, are you going to, what are you giving up?
I'm going to give up Willie in a second here. 8:30, Big 550, KTRS.
What was that?